So now for example number 2, we are told that to write an equation of a line that passes through the point -1, 5 that is parallel to the graph y equals 3x plus 1. So immediately I know that it's going to pass through this point, so I'm just going to label this as x sub 1, y sub 1, right? And then it's parallel, and then that means that we're going to have to do something with this slope. So remember that m1 is the slope of the first equation, which is 3. Now, what do we know about parallel lines? We talked about it before I started recording. That parallel lines, the slope of the parallel line, remember that 2 straight up and down lines, that's the little symbol for parallel, right? It looks like 11, but it's really parallel lines. Remember that from geometry. The slope of the parallel lines are the same. So I know the slope of the new line is going to be 3. Well, remember, if I have a slope, which I do, and an x1, y1, which we'll write down over here, x1 is equal to -1, y1 is equal to 5, then I can use the point slope form to write an equation of a line. So I'm going to say y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x sub 1, okay? So then I just plug in the values. I say y minus y sub 1, which is 5, is equal to the slope, which is 3, times x minus -1. Now, the most common mistake we're going to run into on this is when we just put -1 and we forget that we're subtracting a -1. So I put my little 2 pluses there to let me know that I am adding because I'm subtracting a negative. Well, then next step, distribute the 3 through the parentheses. 3 times x is just 3x. 3 times +1 is a +3. And then over here on the other side, I've got y minus 5 equals all this stuff. Add 5 to both sides. And I get y is equal to 3x plus 8. Now, Mr. Adams is a pretty decent mathematician, but it is possible I made a mistake. So how do I double check to make sure that that line is parallel to this line and it passes through the appropriate point, -1, 5. I'm just going to graph it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say y equals, what was it again? 3x plus 1 was the original one. So I say 3x plus 1. The new point was -1. Was it -1, 5? Was that it? Okay. And then our new line was just 3x plus 8, right? Oops, 3x plus 8. Well, yeah, so they are parallel, right? And it does pass through the appropriate point. So let's take and sketch this. Now, why go through and graph it and double check and make sure it's the right answer? Well, because you can make a simple math error. So always double check your work. Make sure that you're getting the right answer. It only takes a couple of seconds to get it done. Okay.